Good, man. I'm all ready.
Hi everyone and welcome to Rank Them. I am joined by a very special guest. Jason, how are you doing, my friend?
You know what, yeah? I'm okay, bro. I'm okay. It's the first time I've heard you say that today.
Just to peel back the curtain quite far, we've had technical issues all freaking day to sort this out.
We got so far into it and
I know.
It just stopped. It stopped recording.
Stopped recording and my laptop decided to die on me. So we have already established a few of them. So we'll go through them again and I'll add them to the screen. Bo Dallas was in our S tier.
We should say why as well. We shouldn't take that away from them. Bo Dallas, again, he's one of the reasons that Workhorse somewhat started happening in NXT, somewhat because of him. Sort of like he pushed it in that direction and he had good matches.
Yes. Adrian Neville was next in the S tier.
And again, that's because of he's the reason that he was the champion when NXT became the NXT we know today.
Yes.
So he main evented was it a rival? It was a rival, wasn't it? So he main evented a rival, won the title, and his matches with Tyson Kidd, the Fatal 4-Way, and of course his match with Sami Zayn was bonkers.
Yes.
Hey, can we swear? Can we swear?
I keep swearing to a minimal.
All right, well, it was bloody insane. There you go. Bloody insane.
Next up, we've got Kevin Owens. Again.
Sami Zayn.
Again, he beat Sami Zayn. No. Well, I'm just doing the S tier first, and then we'll go, and then we'll go down again.
Kevin Owens, again, beast. As soon as he came into NXT, they took Sami Zayn, someone they've been pushing as the big underdog, and they made his title win about Kevin Owens. He took that title to the main roster, and he disrespected anyone and everyone he could see.
Mm-hmm.
Just GOAT. He's one of the GOATs of NXT. He's so good that they called him back for War Games.
Yeah. That was a surprise and a half. And the fact that it bleeded into Survivor Series as well was really good.
Yes, when it comes to storytelling and in-ring work, Kevin Owens is one of the few that can get both. I feel like literally they gave Chris Jericho a list, and I believe Jericho is the one that got it over, but Kevin Owens, he also played a big part in getting that over.
Yes, 100%.
He somewhat made Jericho relevant to what he said.
100%. 100% agree with you on that. Right, so we can actually put Finn Balor into S tier as well now because I've actually got a picture for him. Again, with Finn Balor, his first title reign was phenomenal, losing it to Samoa Joe, but his second title reign stands out the most for me because every match he's in, he has big fight feel, has the big fight feel of it, and he's bloody awesome.
And it felt like whenever, like I said before, obviously in the other recording, we went into a lot more detail about this. But it was just like Finn Balor, whenever he had that title with him, he made it the talking point. Like, for example, I really don't believe. Do you remember when Edge won the Rumble when he came down to NXT?
Yes.
I really don't think that would have happened if it wasn't for Finn Balor.
No.
Edge would not have gone down to spike that rating or whatever, but they wouldn't have focused. Well, maybe he'd have gone down to spike the rating because of the AEW, sure, but they wouldn't have put him in a segment with Pete Dunne.
No.
If Finn Balor wasn't the one spearheading that segment.
100%. So, next up on our S tier was Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe beat Finn Balor for it and then had the feud with Shinsuke. Again, Samoa Joe was very underrated in WWE, and the fact that they released him is freaking criminal.
I agree. If you want to do anything, send him back to NXT, do what he did with Balor, and let him go on the run. Because when Samoa Joe do you remember Samoa Joe? I can't remember when, but when he was in TNA and he was with Taz and everything, and he felt like he could kill someone.
Yes.
Like, this was the Samoa Joe we had in NXT.
He has such big fight feel with anyone.
Sorry, carry on.
Anyone against Samoa Joe always feels like a big fight feeling. Like, for example, Brock Lesnar.
Oh, that match, yeah. Even though it was only a couple minutes, it was so good. And that Fatal 4-Way. But back to NXT, I really believe Shinsuke was over already with the fans because of Sami and because of New Japan. Yeah. But I really believe the reason Shinsuke was made a big deal in NXT was because they knew like Joe was the champion, and they knew building him up against Joe would be a big part of like NXT's history. They knew looking back. Do you ever look at something and you just think, oh, this would be perfect if these two collided? Yeah. And obviously that takes Samoa Joe being how he is and elevating the title and everyone around him as well. Yeah, everyone around him as well.
Exactly. Right. Moving on to our A tier, we did have Shinsuke in there. Again, Shinsuke is a great fucking, excuse my language, that's my first and only swear, is a great wrestler.
He didn't have enough challenges.
He just, exactly, he was fight. It was the only reason because the main event scene around that time was literally Shinsuke and Samoa Joe. Do you agree on that?
I agree. Yeah, no, I agree. And I also think that his matches with Bobby Roode were really good. But like I said, I've said this about 4 times today now, but you can't judge a whole title reign on that. You have to judge it someone how they lost it, but you can't judge the whole title reign on that. But it's like his matches with Joe, very good. But again, it was just a problem that it was just the same matches. If they was to do that on, even though we love Shinsuke and we love Samoa Joe, if they was to do that on the main roster,
we'd get bored of it.
But they had good matches, but it was just repetitive, the same match over and over again.
Right, moving on down to the B tier, the first ever champ, Seth Rollins. Again, I said this already in the freaking recording that we lost. It was when he won it was great. He won it in a tournament. Yes, Jinder Mahal was in the final. I'm so glad they picked Seth Rollins instead of Jinder Mahal.
If anything, that's what made the NXT title prestigious, was that Jinder was near it.
Shut up! I could just beat you off of this. I could do this tier list by myself. Nah, I'm joking.
I'm really having fun. Again, when you're fighting Michael McGillicuddy in 2 matches with Jinder, we can't give you too much credit.
No.
You know, Seth Rollins is a good ring worker. And we know he had good matches because Seth freaking Rollins, but
it's the problem I have with it was the fact that his time was split between the main roster and NXT. He didn't take when he was going up with the Shield. He didn't take the title with him.
Didn't pull a Kevin Owens. Which, by the way, if they'd have done that a lot sooner, NXT would have been NXT a lot sooner.
Yes,
I believe.
Agree.
And it's just. Yeah, it was just like you can't be a dedicated world champion head of a brand and and then what, you're going to sit there and just be like, oh yeah, but it's the development brand. It's not that. If you're world champion of a brand, you need to establish it.
You need to establish it.
Sorry, carry on.
I said you need to establish it right away. That's why.
You can't just be like, oh yeah, I'm here I'm in the development, I'm the champion of development, but I'm on the main show. Like, you've got to think the show that I'm the world champion of is the main show. Kind of like what Tommaso Ciampa did. Yeah.
I feel like one of these things as well, going back to Kevin Owens, that is one of the things that cannot be repeated, is the fact that you cannot bring up the NXT champion and establish him right away. That is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I'm glad they gave it to Kevin Owens.
Oh, so right, but who else but him? He had that whole attitude of just come in and beat anyone up he sees. Fight Owens, fight. You know, He had that attitude, and they just carried it on to the main roster. But with Seth, it was just a case of not enough challenges, and it was just a case of repetitive. I guess you don't need to fight Jinder Mahal twice for a title. You don't need that.
Well, you shouldn't have to fight Jinder Mahal for a title at all.
Unless it's for the title of greatest in the world, in which Jinder will kill you.
Shut up. Right. We move on back onto the B tier again. Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn felt like an afterthought in his own title run. It was more to do with KO than it was to do with Sami Zayn.
And not only that, Sami Zayn, while he was an amazing, again, we go back to a lot of it is work rate, and while he was an amazing worker, he was more the moments. But he didn't even get probably what would have been the biggest moment in his world title run, was celebrating. He's got to celebrate it, but then bang! As soon as he'd won that title, like we said with Kevin, so he was used as a transitional champion.
Yeah, it was as soon as he won, as soon as that, it was literally bam, apron powerbomb. That's your next challenger, and I'm going to destroy you for it.
And even the way he lost the title, like Sami Zayn is a master at selling. He is absolutely.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But the way he lost it, he did not look like at all.
Right, move on to the C tier. Big E, again, a bit like Seth Rollins, he split his time as champ between NXT and the main roster. Didn't really do much. The 5 count gimmick was great. Obviously, he really wants to bring it back, and I don't blame him for wanting to bring it back. But there wasn't much to his title run.
No, I agree. And he was Dolph Ziggler's best friend at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Champion, and it was just, he was, again, kind of an afterthought overall to Dolph Ziggler being Money in the Bank and everything.
Yes.
So when he's an afterthought, the title he's holding is going to be treated the same, really, isn't it? It's going to be an afterthought.
Okay, so, moving on to, again with the C tier, it is Bobby Roode.
Predictable. Too predictable.
Predictable.
When he would win and when he would lose. And he wasn't, you'd think a champion like him would be built to think, I can beat anyone, or I can win, because that's what a champion should be. But there was no way he was going to beat Drew. And we knew that. Yeah. He beat Itami. And probably his best match, or one of his best matches, other than Shinsuke, his best match was probably on a TV, on free TV. And if you're a champion, you want to have that big pay-per-view, so like Finn Balor does, or like
he didn't have. It was almost like he was groomed for the main roster, but he was given the glorious gimmick, which is fine. The glorious gimmick is great, but it felt like a main roster gimmick than it did an NXT gimmick.
Yeah, that's it. Like, it felt like someone, like, we're going to say this about someone else in a minute, but it felt like someone who should have just gone to the main roster. He felt diluted, is the best way to put it. Compared to seeing him in TNA, NXT, it just, as time went on, it kind of got a bit stale. Yes.
Okay, so moving on to the last person in the C tier for now is Andrade. Again, I've said this already, but outside the match against Gargano,
I think we need to move Andrade up personally. And again, as I said this off stream, but I just want to say this like on the thing, because she's going to watch the video, so I've kind of got to put it in there. Basically, Andrade and Johnny Gargano's match is the reason my girlfriend is a wrestling fan. And Tyler, you know her, so you know she's quite stubborn.
Yeah.
So for her to sit there and change her opinion on laughing at it to, oh my God, what the hell, we just kicked out. How's it? Oh my God, what? I can't believe Johnny Gargano lost. Shows how good of a heel Andrade was. And his match with Gargano, he retained that well. Then they had another match on NXT TV where Gargano had to leave NXT. And I really think he needs to be SOA'd because he was...
all right, because of the personal reason for it, I did enjoy his title reign. Didn't have much to... Again, like I said, admittedly, didn't have much to do. But I reckon we move him top of A tier.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You just got me brownie points on YouTube. Thank you.
So, we move on to Drew McIntyre, which unfortunately is in D tier.
We said this before, Drew. You and your fake account, stay away from, because you got them people on YouTube that pretend to be like Charlotte Flair and wrestlers. We're going to get bombarded with Drew now, watch. But no, for real, Drew, I love Drew. Drew's such a good wrestler. He made the WWE title feel important again. Him and Lashley have been really good consistently. But when it comes to the NXT title, Drew did absolutely fuck all. The one match he did have was shown on TV. It was a dark match with Adam Cole with Shawn Michaels as a special guest referee, but that was shown on TV in January, and he lost the title to Andrade in November.
Yeah, so exactly. Drew did absolutely nothing with the belt. It is nothing against him.
And Tyler, I just want to say, if Drew McIntyre has a problem, please take it out on like, basically, there's someone in the group. His name's Trent. He takes the beatings for us.
Yeah, our name is Trent. So if you're coming at us, our name is Trent.
Like nothing but Trent. Just think of that, Trent.
Right, we move on to... Yeah, so we move on to Aleister Black.
Oh, I'm torn because he won the title really good and he felt important.
Yes.
But the big like dot on his record is that match with Lars Sullivan. I don't know if you remember it, but at the end,
I do,
that
because
that black mass didn't even connect, and he still won.
It was literally that kick was like 2 meters apart. It was like a COVID social distance.
Yeah, you beat me to it. I was literally about to say socially distant. But yeah, no. He's a good champion though. He had a good run and he felt important. I wish if he wouldn't have been injured, apparently the plan was going to be Gargano versus Black versus Ciampa.
Yeah.
Could you remember we got so basically it was going to be Gargano versus Ciampa versus Black, which would have been so good, but we can't book on the probability. It needs to be on what happened.
Yeah,
and
I think with the only mark on his record, with being that Lars Sullivan match, I personally top a B tier.
Yeah, I agree, B, because again, the match he had with Andrade at New Orleans, oh God, by the way, I'm so lucky we recorded this earlier. Like, we had to re-record this because earlier on, we couldn't remember New Orleans. We couldn't remember the name for it. So we would have got killed. We would have been killed, but no.
Oh, the comment section would have come after us. We would have to disconnect. We'd have to like disengage the channel and everything like that.
An apology video.
We would have, yeah.
When you're mad, our name's Trent.
We should have, yeah. We'll have to get a Trent to do an apology video on behalf of us.
What do you mean behalf of us? We are Trent. Yeah. No. Honestly, I think that. Because he was a good champion.
Okay, we now move on to one of my favorite NXT champions, and that is Tommaso Ciampa.
That's top tier. Yes, top tier. Other than he's my second favorite. My favorite is Finn Balor because of his second run. But Ciampa, oh my God, I've never seen no one put a title over so much. He was obsessed. Even when he lost that title, he was torn. And he was
obsessed with it.
With Gargano, Black, Velveteen Dream. Wow.
He was obsessed with the title, and it showed massively how obsessed he was with that title.
When John Cena came in and left his mark on a title when he discredited it in a certain way by having a spinner on it after a certain time.
Yeah.
Right, he did that, but that was replaceable. When people are still to this day calling the NXT Championship oldie because of him. Yeah. Wow. And I'm not being funny. His match with Velveteen Dream at War Games, take away all Velveteen Dream's
allegations.
Yeah, we look at the match itself. Wow,
great match.
The match with Aleister Black as well.
It was such a psychological. This is the thing as well. I'm going to give Velveteen Dream a little credit here. His psychology in his matches were great. That is the only credit I'm going to give. He was a good ring talent. He just needs to find the help he needs.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's struggling mentally, and before anyone, I know it's out of your people listening. I know it's out of everybody's control sometimes. But if you feel like you're getting to a stage where you're not just affecting people, but you're hurting them, the best thing to do is to seek help. Yeah. And I know that's not normally something we talk about, but I just I'd like.
Yeah, definitely. You can put that out there, like 100%. Right. So, unfortunately, because of a neck injury, Tommaso Ciampa had to vacate the title to heal up, which was very unfortunate. We then move on to TakeOver. I can't remember what TakeOver, but it was
TakeOver New York was when Gargano won it from Adam Cole.
Yeah, the 2 out of 3 falls match.
Wow.
Okay. Based on Gargano's in-ring talent, I would put him top very tier. But
I need to be careful because obviously, as I said before, Gargano's my girlfriend's favorite wrestler, so I need to be very careful.
This title reign,
Sami Zayn.
This title reign wasn't the greatest, but I'm saying we put him in A tier.
Yeah, I mean, I'd settle for A or B because at the end of the day, when he won that title, that match was probably my favorite NXT match with Adam Cole. But he had one match as champion, one match, same as Sami Zayn. Yeah. I personally think if we're looking at, it's not just who won the belt, it's what they did with the belt, and it's the work rate. The work rate is obviously in Gargano's favor a lot. Yeah. But again, one match, I think B tier personally. I think B tier.
Okay, if we the
same tier as Aleister Black when it comes to running the belt and doing something.
Okay. Yeah. It's fair enough. Right. Okay. Now we move on to Adam Cole, baby.
Oh God, yes, S tier.
S tier.
Wait, actually, I don't know because.
Are you a bit torn on this one?
The first, I want to say, from when he won that title to when he had that match with Ciampa, was so good, and his match with Keith Lee where he lost it was good, but there was just a kind of a phase where they wasn't doing nothing with it, was they really? No. There wasn't. He had an on and off feud with Velveteen Dream, but he wasn't really doing nothing. But saying that, with what he did do, insane. His match with Ciampa, his matches with Gargano.
I would say, on a personal level, we put him top of A.
Okay.
Top of A tier. He wasn't. Yes, he's the longest reigning NXT champion, but he's not. I feel like he's not on the level of a Finn Balor or a Kevin Owens.
Yeah, A tier. But saying that, I hope he does get another title run.
Yeah. Okay, we move on to now Great American Bash Night, Week 2, the double championship on the North American Championship and the NXT Championship. You can't forget about Keith Lee.
I did, but I think he's bottom personally because he had the same problem as Drew.
I agree.
Such a good wrestler, but he was really good in NXT.
Yeah.
And I think they pulled the trigger on Cross a bit too soon.
Yeah. I think they should have given Keith Lee a bit more of a reign with it.
At least until War Games. Games, because at the end of the day, Keith Lee, he's a really, really good wrestler. His size and speed, I don't need to say that. Everybody knows that. But when it comes to the title, the NXT World title, he had one match. There were two matches. I'm pretty sure he had a match against Donovan Dijakovic. But even that was used as an angle for his match with Karen Cross. It was a big case of Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. Don't forget, before Keith even won the title, Cross was coming out with the Hourglass, TikTok, everything.
Yeah.
So, transitional champion, unfortunately, and he should be at the bottom.
Yeah, I agree. So, we move on to the current reigning and defending NXT champion, Karrion Kross. He won it at TakeOver 30 against Keith Lee. Unfortunately, he was injured and had to vacate it. But when he come back, he was put into different feuds, like one with Santos. He was built back up to the title. He then Stand and Deliver Night 2, pretty much destroyed Balor, and now he's entered his second reign. I personally, because we haven't seen much from him, I say C tier for now.
I agree, and that's purely as well because he if anything, either him and Balor should have main evented Night 1 of Stand and Deliver.
Yep.
They should have main evented
the
world title, and I think personally that
I get why Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly main evented Night 2 because of the carnage with the set, like them going through the set ramp and all that. I get it, but it should have been.
Put them on Night 1. At least put Cross and Balor on Night 1.
Yeah.
But so he hasn't. He's not. It's hard because we could look back in 6 months by now and potentially say, "Oh my God, wow, I've never seen something like that before."
Yeah.
What a champion! But now he hasn't really done nothing, to be honest.
At the minute, again, he's still in his infancy of the second title reign. We could come back to this in a couple of months maybe and kind of like revisit it all. And he could have been moved up to B tier or even A tier. I don't think he's S tier material at the minute.
I think personally we'll look back at him as a really good monster champion.
Yeah.
But I don't think we'll put him on the same level as Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, Tommaso Ciampa. But I think, like you said, C tier, and that's purely, again, I don't want to wake up to an hourglass in my room. So I'm going to say I like him. I do like him.
I do like Karrion Kross.
And I also feel like the times he won the titles, maybe not the best. When he won, I think personally, and this is selfish point of view, I'm happy he won. I like the match between him and Finn Balor a lot. Yeah. But I also think that I'm a Finn Balor stan. So it's like anyone beats Finn Balor, I'm gonna be mad at you. But he C tier purely just because not enough time yet.
Okay, so we are reaching the end of the video here, and now we are going to determine who is the best NXT champion.
Based on that, I'd like to do something quickly.
Yeah, go for it.
And we determine what we both, either individually or together, think is the best NXT title match.
Oh.
Who had the best individual reign? So I know Finn Balor had multiple, so did Joe and Shinsuke, but what was the best one, and who was the best overall champion? Okay, my best title match is always going to be TakeOver Philadelphia, Andrade versus Johnny. Mine is Johnny versus Adam Cole, purely because of the in-ring work was phenomenal. Not only that, the theatricality of the match of like Undisputed Era coming in, Gargano is the best babyface, and at that moment, Adam Cole was the best heel, and they went on and put the best babyface versus heel match I've ever seen. And personally, one of my favorite matches ever, and one of my favorite NXT title matches, Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano at Takeover New York.
Okay, so my single best title reign is Finn Balor's second.
Oh yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth, literally. Yeah. What a run! And the thing was though, we got to be. Do you know when you're younger or like now when you look back at like say when Rey Mysterio won the title, or say I wish I had the knowledge about wrestling then that I did now.
Yes.
And we have that knowledge now during Finn Balor's run, so we know, and it's just. We know to look at the intricacies of like technicians and everything.
But this is the other thing as well. We know how good Finn Balor is.
Yeah, oh my God, he's so good.
But this was the other thing. When we were younger and everything like that, we didn't have, take your example, Rey Mysterio. We were like 6 years old or something like that when he.
Yeah, like 6 or 7. Yeah,
6 or 7 when he was like reaching the top, like he was there winning the title at WrestleMania and everything like that. But we only knew he was that good because of the year we were born in. We've been in the era of Finn Balor basically.
I'd love to have been like had all of this knowledge back when I was like 10, 11.
Yeah.
Summer of Punk. Imagine the content we could have done for the Summer of Punk.
I know. Mental. Right, so...
second one is mine as well, because, again, just the in-ring, the way he made the title feel. And to me, he's my favourite NXT champion, either him or Ciampa, but I have to go for Adam Cole. I have to go for Finn Balor, personally, because of that second run. Okay,
let's determine the best NXT champion from the S tier. So, Jason... Is Bo Dallas's reign better than Adrian Neville's?
Nah.
Is Bo Dallas's reign better than Kevin Owens?
Nah, I think Bo Dallas is last place there for me. Because I remember who's in it, and personally... did you say KO's was better than Bo Dallas's? Yeah, KO's is better, but I think personally, my favourite, I already know this answer, my exact favourite, is Finn Balor, and that's not just because I love him. Because look at how different his 2 title runs were. Yeah, and look at how, and they both delivered equally. But this is how. Well, I'll get to it in a bit more. We'll just go through this quickly. So, is Finn Balor a better NXT champion than Kevin Owens? 100%. Okay, is Samoa Joe a better NXT champion than Finn Balor? Nah. Okay. I think. So what are we? How many are in? There's Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, Neville, Kevin Owens, and who else is in S tier? Tommaso Ciampa. Okay, so my top three out of them, number 3 would be Kevin Owens, 2 would be Ciampa, and 1 would be Finn Balor. That's my top 3.
Okay, I 100% agree with this. Right, so back to my original point before we end this video. The thing I like the most from Finn Balor's second reign was the maturity of Finn Balor. It was, he come in as, he didn't feel like a main roster guy when he come back in. He felt like the Prince. He felt like Prince Devitt from New Japan, but with a WWE spin on it.
Yeah, and it's not only that. You know, like his first title run. If you think of them both together, his first title run kind of feels like theatre.
Yeah.
Like, and his second one feels like an indie film.
Yes.
That makes sense. It feels gritty and real. You know, it's like the matches he had with Kyle O'Reilly and Pete Dunne and Adam Cole, of course, they felt like realistic, brutal beatdowns.
Exactly.
And his matches in the first one felt like theatricality and WWE, you know, but they still delivered and they were still really, really good. And it's different. It's both sides of the same coin, and it's just, yeah, like you said, growth and the maturity of him, and it's just, yeah. He's grown
as a performer over this last year
a lot. And I think the thing is as well, he's got a lot of confidence in him that he didn't have on the main roster. So obviously, going back to NXT, having a bit more free reign and being with someone in Triple H that trusts him and that he knows he knows that Triple H trusts him and is aware of his capabilities. Having that person behind you, it's like every good football team needs a manager that will stand there and say, "I believe in you."
Yeah.
And Triple H was that manager for Finn Balor, and having that extra people behind him, so he knows even if he doesn't have a completely epic 5-star match, he'll still get a pat on the shoulder. Just knowing that it allowed him to go out and take more risk and become more technical and more hard hitting in his matches.
Definitely. So that has been our rankings of the NXT champions. Obviously, sound off in the comments and tell us how wrong we are.
If Drew or Keith Lee or Cross are going to go after us, my name is Trent.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, and again, like I said, sound off in the comments. Obviously, we've got loads of more of these coming your way. So
ideas of what rankings we've got coming up.
So couple of ranking episodes. We've got the NXT Tag Team Champions, we've got NXT North American Champion, and we've got WWE United States Champion. If you have any other ideas, please sound them off in the comments and we will get to them. But apart from that, thank you very much, guys, for watching, and we shall see you on the next one.